There is a woman in her late 60s sitting in a small emergency room in a quiet American town. Her name is Linda. She is holding her arm up to the fluorescent lights, staring at a purple bruise that seemed to show up out of nowhere. Her mind is racing. Is it my blood? My liver? Something serious? 2 days earlier, she had bumped her arm against the refrigerator door and thought nothing of it. Today, the mark is dark and dramatic. The worry in her eyes is even darker. Linda is not alone. All over the country, men and women over 60 are quietly panicking every time their bodies change. A new spot on the skin, a forgotten word, a night of poor sleep, a chill they just cannot shake. Their first thought is often, something is wrong with me. But in many cases, their bodies are not failing. They are simply aging in a completely normal way. This video follows people like Linda, Robert, and Elaine, 3 fictional seniors who stand in for millions of real lives. Their stories reveal 5 very common changes after 60 that often do not mean disease. Instead, they show how the body adapts to time. For anyone watching right now, or for someone you love, this understanding can replace fear with calm. Before going further, one important reminder: this video is for education, not a replacement for medical care. Any sudden, severe, or worrying change deserves a conversation with a health professional. By the end of this video, viewers will see why skin bruises, why names slip away, why sleep drifts, why rooms feel colder, and why hearing seems harder, and how to respond with practical steps. Viewers who stay until the end will also hear a simple way to talk to their doctor. If you've ever worried, "Is my body falling apart?" you are invited to stay. This may feel like a deep breath of relief. Linda, the woman in the emergency room, finally sees the doctor. After a careful exam and a few questions, he smiles kindly and says, "Linda, your blood work is normal. Your liver looks fine. What you are seeing on your skin is mostly time." He explains that by the late 60s, several things happen just beneath the surface of the skin. The outer and inner layers of skin become thinner and flatter. The soft fat padding under the skin decreases. Tiny blood vessels sit closer to the surface and become more fragile. This means a gentle bump that would have left no mark at 30 can leave a dramatic purple patch at 70. The bruise may look frightening, but still be completely harmless. This is not a disease. It is a normal age-related change. Here is something comforting. If a person over 60 notices occasional bruises after mild bumps, but they are not getting dizzy, not bleeding from the gums or nose, it is often just the skin telling the story of time, not a hidden illness. But what can someone actually do about it? Imagine Linda at home the following week, standing at her bathroom sink. She decides to treat her skin the way she treats an old, beloved leather chair, not trying to make it new again, but caring for it with respect. Step 1. Gentle cleansing. She uses lukewarm, not hot, water. She chooses a mild, fragrance-free cleanser instead of harsh soap to avoid stripping natural oils. Step 2. Moisturize within minutes. She pats, not rubs, her skin with a soft towel. Within 3 to 5 minutes, while the skin is still slightly damp, she applies a gentle moisturizer to arms, legs, and hands. She focuses on areas that bruise more easily. Step 3. Daily protection. Before going outside, she applies sunscreen. When gardening or doing chores, she wears long sleeves and soft gloves to give those thin blood vessels a little extra armor. These small steps help the skin stay as strong as it can be. Here is a crucial checkpoint. If someone suddenly starts seeing large bruises with no clear cause, bleeding gums, nosebleeds, or bruises that appear in unusual places, like the back or abdomen, that is not something to quietly ignore. Those signs can suggest a problem with blood clotting, medications, or underlying disease, and a doctor should be involved. But if bruises appear mostly where the body bumps into life, shins, forearms, hands, that is often perfectly normal. One day, as Linda rubs moisturizer into her arm, she pauses. It is not the bruise bothering her anymore. It is the name of the nurse she liked so much at the clinic. She can picture the nurse's face and voice, but the name just will not come. Robert is 72. He walks into his kitchen with purpose, opens the refrigerator door, and then stares at the milk. Why did I come in here? He wonders. He stands there for a moment, frowning. Then, halfway back to the living room, it hits him. Oh right, I was going to get the salad dressing for lunch. For a brief second, he is rattled. Is this how it starts? He has seen commercials about memory loss. He has heard friends talk about dementia. Is this how it starts? He asks himself. Health experts explain that it is common to take longer to remember a name or misplace glasses from time to time. This happens because the search speed of the brain slows with age, while the total store of knowledge and vocabulary often stays the same or even grows. One geriatric specialist compared an older brain to a large, well-used library. The shelves are full of decades of books, memories, stories, skills, faces. The librarian is still excellent. It just takes longer to track down a specific title in all those rows. When a word finally pops into mind, that's a sign the filing system is working. Here is a simple idea. If a person remembers the thing later, that is usually a sign of normal aging. If a person never remembers it, and this keeps happening in a way that disrupts daily life, it is time to talk to a doctor or memory specialist. Serious cognitive problems often show up as getting lost in familiar places, repeating the same question over and over, struggling to manage money they handled for years, or forgetting major events or what year it is. Those deserve professional attention. But Robert, who occasionally searches for names and still manages the household bills, cooks, and drives safely, is likely experiencing typical age-related changes in memory. On a quiet afternoon, Robert tries a simple brain walk. Step 1. Pick a memory route. He chooses a familiar walking path, from his front door to the mailbox. Step 2. Add details. He closes his eyes and slowly walks the route in his mind. The feel of the doorknob, the sound of the gravel, the color of the neighbor's flowers, the texture of the mailbox handle. Step 3. Add names or words. On the next walk, he assigns a friend's name or a vocabulary word to each landmark. The front step. His grandson's name. The tree. A new word. Exercises like this gently challenge memory and attention in a low-stress way. Reading, puzzles, learning a new skill, having meaningful conversations, all support brain health too. Your brain is busy, not broken. Anyone watching who has ever walked into a room and forgotten why can probably relate to Robert. If this sounds familiar, leave a phrase in the comments like, "Still learning, still growing." It is a quiet way of saying, my brain is busy, not broken. Later that night, Robert crawls into bed at 9:15 p.m. At 5:10 a.m., his eyes pop open like clockwork. He wonders, why am I tired at 8 p.m. and wide awake before sunrise? Is something wrong with my heart, my hormones? Elaine used to tease her parents for falling asleep in front of the television. Now, at 68, she finds herself doing the same thing. She nods off after dinner, wakes up at midnight, goes back to bed, and still wakes early. Some days, she feels sleepy in the afternoon, even if she has not done anything unusually tiring. She wonders if this tiredness means illness. Sleep specialists describe a few common normal shifts in sleep as people get older. The body produces less melatonin. The internal clock often shifts earlier. Deep sleep stages become shorter, so sleep feels lighter. For many healthy seniors, this adds up to earlier bedtimes, earlier wake times, and a greater need for short rest periods during the day. None of these, by themselves, automatically signal disease. There is one key question that often helps. Does rest actually help? If someone over 60 feels tired, takes a nap, or gets a good night's sleep, and then feels noticeably better, that pattern can be consistent with normal aging. If someone feels exhausted all the time, no matter how much they rest, or can barely get through simple daily tasks, that is a reason to see a doctor. Persistent, overwhelming fatigue can be linked to heart disease, thyroid problems, depression, anemia, or other conditions. Elaine decides to work with her body instead of fighting it. A few evenings a week, she tries a simple routine. Step 1. Set a target wind-down time. She picks a regular, start relaxing time, for example, 8 p.m. She doesn't have to fall asleep then, but she begins signaling to her body that bedtime is coming. Step 2. Dim the environment. At 8 p.m., she lowers screen brightness and turns on softer lamps instead of overhead lights. This helps her body slowly increase melatonin production. Step 3. Light stretching. In the living room, she spends 5 minutes doing gentle movements. The goal is not exercise intensity. It is to release some muscle tension from the day. Step 4. A simple closure ritual. She keeps a small notebook next to her chair. Before bed, she writes one thing that went well today and one thing she is grateful for. This helps shift her thoughts away from worry and toward calm. Step 5. Bedroom environment. Before she lies down, she lowers the thermostat a little, makes the room as dark and quiet as is comfortable, and avoids staring at the clock if she wakes early. The next afternoon, feeling a dip in energy, Elaine chooses not to collapse into a chair immediately. Instead, she tries a 1-minute movement, spark. She stands up slowly, holding onto the back of a sturdy chair. She marches in place gently for 30 seconds, lifts her knees only as high as feels safe, then sits and takes 5 deep, slow breaths, noticing she feels a bit more awake and warm. Short bursts of safe movement during the day can help circulation, mood, and nighttime sleep quality, as long as a doctor has not restricted exercise. Anyone watching who has noticed a shift toward earlier bedtimes or lighter sleep is in good company. Many healthy older adults share this new daily rhythm. If you're finding these explanations calming or useful, you might choose to support this channel, Wise Nourish, by tapping the like button and staying with the video. There are still 2 more changes to explore, and the next one explains why sweaters become so important after 60. At his granddaughter's birthday party, Robert looks around the room. His son is in a t-shirt. Meanwhile, Robert is wearing a sweater and still feels a draft. He wonders quietly, Is my circulation failing? Doctors explain several normal aging changes. Slower metabolism means the body produces less heat. A thinner fat layer beneath the skin makes it easier to lose heat, and blood vessels may become stiffer. Muscle mass decreases, slowing metabolism. The fat layer in arms and legs becomes thinner, and blood vessels take longer to reach hands and feet with warm blood. These shifts are perfectly normal. Feeling cold is not usually a disease, but if someone is shivering uncontrollably, confused, or sleepy, that can be a sign of hypothermia, which is an emergency. Sudden, dramatic changes always deserve medical advice. On a brisk morning, Robert decides to take control of his comfort with a simple, warmth plan. Step 1. Dress in layers. Rather than one heavy sweater, he uses multiple thinner layers. Step 2. Protect the extremities. He puts on thick socks, soft gloves, and a light cap. These areas lose heat quickly, so covering them helps him feel warmer overall. Step 3. Warm from the inside. Before heading out, he drinks a warm beverage, like herbal tea, which can make him feel cozier and warm his core. Step 4. Move regularly. Around the house, he stands up every hour and walks to another room. Movement boosts circulation, helping warm blood reach cold hands and feet. Step 5. Home temperature check. He keeps his space comfortably warm and keeps thin blankets nearby. These simple practices work with the body's new reality. Even as Robert warms his hands, another change is becoming quieter. At the next dinner, he can see his daughter's lips moving, but her words get lost under the clatter of dishes and laughter. Elaine meets a friend at a busy cafe. 10 years ago, she could follow every word. Now, the clinking of cups and hum of voices blur her friend's sentences. She finds herself nodding along, hoping she has understood correctly. At home, she notices the high-pitched beep of the microwave timer is faint. Birds outside the window do not sound as bright as they once did. Immediately, her thoughts go to fear. Am I losing my hearing completely? Hearing experts have a name for this: presbycusis. It affects both ears and makes high-frequency sounds harder to hear first, like birds or children's voices. It is a natural consequence of aging for many healthy adults. Some feel embarrassed and start to avoid group dinners. But untreated hearing loss can make it harder to stay socially engaged, which is vital for mental health. Ignoring changes can affect your quality of life. Elaine decides to stop guessing. She schedules a hearing check. She learns her loss is mild to moderate and consistent with aging. Hearing aids or simple habits can make a big difference. Step 1. Change seating. Elaine sits closer to the speaker and keeps her back to a wall. Step 2. Reduce background noise. At home, she turns off the TV or music during important talks. Step 3. Use technology. She turns on closed captions and adjusts sound settings. Step 4. Communicate openly. Elaine practices saying, "I want to hear you, but this room is loud. Could we move somewhere quieter?" Age-related changes are usually gradual. If someone notices sudden hearing loss in one ear, with dizziness or pain, that can be an emergency. But for gradual changes, thoughtful adjustments are the healthiest path. We have walked alongside Linda, Robert, and Elaine through 5 changes: skin bruising, memory retrieving, sleep shifting, feeling colder, and ears struggling with noise. Now, let's put it all together. When someone crosses 60, 70, or 80, it can feel as though the body is constantly sending new messages. A spot here, a bruise there, a name that will not come, a night of poor sleep, a sweater in summer. Modern life makes this worse by surrounding people with advertisements listing symptoms and selling pills. It becomes easy to believe that every change is a sign of disease, but health professionals who work with older adults remind us of a different truth. Aging affects every part of the body: skin, brain, heart, bones, ears, and more. Many of these changes are expected, common, and not in themselves illness. The real skill of aging well is learning which changes need action and which simply need understanding. Whenever a new change appears, 2 questions can guide a calmer response. Is this change gradual and familiar in older age? Example: bruises after bumps, slower word recall, feeling chilly, needing earlier bedtimes. Often normal, but still worth mentioning at routine checkups. Is this change sudden, severe, or disrupting daily life? Example: sudden large bruises without reason, getting lost in known places, chest pain, extreme fatigue, sudden hearing loss in one ear, severe confusion. These require prompt medical attention. Towards the end of this video, you can try a quiet exercise. Think of one body change that has worried you recently, perhaps a bruise, a moment of forgetfulness, or a colder winter. Now ask yourself, could this be one of the common age-related changes I have just learned about? Does it improve with rest, warmth, or time? Has it been slowly appearing over years rather than exploding overnight? If the answer is yes, you might allow yourself a small, gentle thought: my body is not betraying me. It is adapting to the long life I have lived. Of course, still share your concerns at your next medical visit. Good communication with a healthcare provider is a powerful form of self-respect. Thank you for joining us at Wise Nourish. Be well. Linda still gets bruises sometimes. Robert still forgets why he walked into a room now and then. Elaine still asks people to repeat themselves in noisy places. But now, they have something they did not have before: context. They understand that thinner skin can be cared for, slower word recall can be exercised, shifting sleep can be guided, chilliness can be managed, and hearing changes can be faced openly. They also understand when to call a doctor and when to say, "This is part of living long." Aging does not erase worth. If anything, it deepens it. Every line on the face, every silver hair, every story told twice, they are proof that a person has lived through seasons, challenges, and joys that younger people have not yet seen. Anyone who has stayed with this video until now has already taken an important step: learning. The next steps are simple but powerful. Share this video with a friend who worries, and subscribe to Wise Nourish for more calm, respectful guidance on senior health. In the comments, you are invited to write one sentence beginning with, "One thing I understand about my aging body now is." That sentence might help someone else reading it feel less alone. And above all, keep asking questions, keep moving in ways that feel safe, and keep showing up to your own life. Because a body that has carried you this far is not an enemy. It is a longtime companion, doing its best every single day to keep you here. Stay informed, stay gentle with yourself, stay nourished in body and mind.